Hello boys and girls, my name is Lauren from the Rainforest Art Project, and we have just received a letter from Redina Muzito in Africa. Let's open it and see what she has to say. My name is Redina Muzito and I live in Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo in the center of Africa. In our country, there are many large lakes and rivers with lots of different kinds of animals. Storytelling is a very important part of our culture, and I would like to share my favorite story with you. Once upon a time, there lived a bird named Adama. In the language of the Congo, Adama means beautiful child, and that name fit her perfectly. She was one of the many types of amazing birds and animals that lived around the jungle along the Fimi River in this giant African country. Adama was only 3 weeks old when her mother returned to their nest to find her missing. "Adama, Adama," she cried, but heard no answer. Finally, she found Adama on the jungle floor where she had landed when she fell out of her nest. With the help of her mother, she climbed back up the tree and returned to her nest, but she was badly hurt. Her brother and 2 sisters were learning how to fly when they were 6 weeks old, but Adama was still in pain and was afraid to leave the nest. It was the time of year when all the birds in their flock would need to fly north to the valley of the honey flowers, where they would eat the sweet nectar. The birds loved this journey and the delicious nectar. This food was also very important for their survival. Adama would spread her wings and try to fly like her brothers and sisters, but it was very painful, so she stayed alone in her nest as her family flew away. Adama grew very lonely and hungry as she finished the last of the seeds that her mother had left her. She knew that her family had to leave for their own survival, but she realized that if she did not find a way to catch up with them, she could not live alone. She looked out to the Fimi River and saw that many other animals were heading in the direction of the Valley of the Honey Blossoms. As she watched a hippopotamus walking through the water, she had a wonderful idea. If she could manage to climb all the way to the end of the branch, she may be able to drop down onto the hippo's back and catch a ride. She struggled and made it all the way to the very tip of the branch, but as the hippo approached, she became afraid to make the leap. She knew that it was now or never, so she closed her eyes and jumped, tumbling down onto the back of the hippo. Her mother had warned her that hippos could be fearsome and dangerous, so she quickly moved to the middle of its back where she would be furthest from its massive jaws. Adama was amazed at how smoothly the hippo waded through the water, and she found that she could eat the bugs that would land on its back. Every time she would remove a bug, the hippo would wiggle its ears with appreciation. For 3 days and nights, Adama traveled in comfort on the back of the hippo. All the time she was gaining her strength and learned to trust him more and more as he continuously showed his appreciation by wiggling his ears. On the 4th day, they were approaching the Valley of the Honey Flowers when the hippo just stopped. Adama did not know why, but then the hippo turned his head to look back at her, and for the first time she could see his smiling face. He began wiggling his ears as he looked directly at her through his kind eyes, and she knew that this meant that it was time for them to say goodbye. Adama gathered all her strength and stretched her wings. Woohoo! She began flapping them with all her might when finally she looked down to discover that she was flying. She flew up and down and all around Mr. Hippo, who could not stop smiling at her and wiggling his ears. Adama flew as high as she could, high enough so that she could see way beyond the trees, to a beautiful valley covered with golden yellow flowers. When she got closer, Adama could hear the very special song that her mother used to sing to her. Adama sang back to her mother and dove down to greet her family. "You can fly! You can fly!" they yelled out with joy. "Yes, I can," said Adama, "and I cannot wait to tell you about my new friend." I hope that you enjoyed this story from the Congo as much as I enjoyed telling it to you. Best wishes, Radina Muzito. Thank you, Radina, for that beautiful story about the travels of Adama and Mr. Hippo. And now for a few facts about the Congo. The Congo is lush with rainforests, rivers and lakes, and it is the home of many of Earth's most interesting animals. These include elephants, hippos, buffalo and rhinos, and some of the rarer animals include gorillas, chimpanzees and bonobos. Also, living in the forests of the Congo are over 1,000 different types of birds. These are some of the most interesting and colourful animals in the world. That was so exciting hearing Radina's story and learning more about the amazing Congo. Well, kids, see you on our next adventure with the Rainforest Art Project. Changing the world, one piece of art at a time.